Okay, so today we will discuss on the topic of nutrition, and this topic is really important. We must know about it. Okay, because if we have a balanced diet, then we have a healthy life. So that we must know that which type of foods adds in our body and provide support to our body. Okay, so in this lecture we covered certain main topics like nutrition. Like after that we will cover the importance of the nutrition. I will tell you that how you can find out that either you are underweight, overweight, or you are normal. Okay, and then we will then discuss on the some diseases that are associated with the nutrition. So let us start. First of all, nutrition. What is nutrition? Nutrition is actually the process of taking in food and breaking into simple and soluble state which can be easily absorbed by the cells. So only remember this, that if we eat or if we take breakfast, we take lunch, we take dinner, then what happens, that the food is there, okay, and we are taking the food, we are consuming the food. So carbs, proteins, and many vitamins and minerals are also present in these food materials, okay. And when we consume that food, then that food will provide us energy, and that food is absorbed by the cells that are present in our body. So this is known as nutrition, okay. Means that we are taking food, first of all we chew that food, then that food will be go in our body, and then this food will simplify more and digest more from the complex to the simpler forms, and then it is absorbed by the cells, right? So this is known as a nutrition. Then in the nutrition, we in the food we consume some types of nutrients. Nutrients are actually those molecules in the food that all organisms need to make energy, grow, develop, and reproduce. Just like carbohydrates, just like vitamins, just like minerals, just like proteins, just like fats, these are the nutrients, okay, and they must be taken into the body, and they must be taken by our body so that we have a balanced diet. And then we must take them in an appropriate amount so that our body will take energy, will grow, will develop, and will reproduce, okay. Now if we talk about the balanced diet, then what is a balanced diet? Actually, balanced diet is that diet that contains all the types of the, which must includes all the types of the nutrients, but these nutrients must present in a we can say that these nutrients must present in a balanced amount. You can see here that 40%, 25%, 25%, and 10%, okay. And the key is present over there, the key is present here, that in the blue portion there are fruits and vegetables, that 40% we must consume the fruits and vegetables. Then in the reddish portion we have a 25% fiber rich carbohydrates, in which grains, wheat, rice, potato, and grams, these all things are included in the carbohydrates. But these carbohydrates, if they are rich in fiber, means if the fiber is present in these carbohydrates, then they will be very helpful for the digestion of our body. Otherwise, consuming a huge amount of carbohydrates may also cause constipation, okay. And then in the green portion you can see that there is a protein, so 25% in our diet we must take protein. In the purplish portion you see fats, so fats, we must consume fats in a low amount, because if we consume them in a high amount, as a result of which these fats accumulate in our body and will leads to obesity, okay, and also will leads to many diseases. So 40% fruits and vegetables, 25% carbs, 25% protein, and 10% fats, okay. We must design our platter like this. If we are taking dinner or lunch, then we must design our plate like this. That these all the things must be like this, that this 40% this, 25% this, 25% protein, and 10% fats, okay. So when we take our diet in such a manner, then this will be called as a balanced diet, right? Now how we judge that we have a normal weight, or we are overweight, or we have a underweight? Okay, we have underweight, or we are underweight, right? Or we are extremely obese. How do we judge? Whenever any person go to hospital, first of all they take his BP. Okay, they check his blood pressure, then pulse, they also check his weight, his height, and then they assess that either the person has a correct body mass index or not. Okay, now in order to explain you about the body mass index is actually the division, means the body weight divided by the body height, body weight in kilograms and body height in meters. Okay, when the weight of the body is divided by the body height, then we get the BMI value. Okay, and this BMI value, to find out the value of BMI is very simple. There are online calculators available on the internet. Just go there and put your weight there. Okay, in kg, automatically they convert from pounds to kg, or from any unit to kg. Okay, and if they are measuring and body height, just put your height. If you know your height in inches or in centimeter, then they will convert in the meter square automatically, okay, by the help of online calculator. So automatically they will give you one value. Okay, then remember that value, and then come to this point, that if we are measuring the body mass index in kilogram per meter square, okay, if we are measuring the body mass index in this unit, then according to this there are certain values which we judge that if a person has a body mass index lower than 18.5 kilogram per meter square, then he is underweight. Okay, he is underweight. He must take more food, or he must go towards some exercises, some mass bearing exercises, and he must increase his weight. Why? Because 18.5 is normal BMI, and his BMI is lower than 18.5, right? And then if a person is normal, then his BMI will ranges from 18.5 to 24.9. If the BMI of a person ranges from 18.5 to 24.9, then it means that the person has a normal BMI. Okay, it is actually a ratio of weight and height. And if a person is overweight, then his BMI will be from 25 to 29.9. Okay, if the BMI is ranging from 25 to 29.9, then it means that the person is overweight. Okay, now if the person has a BMI of about 30 to 34.9, then we say that the person is obese. Okay, and if the BMI is more than 35 or more than 34.9, then we say that the person is extremely obese. So every person must know his BMI in order to judge that either he or she is underweight, normal, overweight, obese, or extremely obese. Okay, so by the help of online calculator we can find out our BMI very easily. If we don't know exactly the calculation, then we can find out our BMI through the online calculators very easily. So just go and type the BMI calculator and put your weight and height there, and then they will generate a value. Then compare that value and with these, and then you can find out that yes, your BMI is either you are in which category you fall. Okay, so further going in the detail about the nutrition. So nutrition, why we are discussing this in the nutrition? Because these all the things are interlinked with our food intake. Okay, if we are not consuming enough amount of food, then we might be underweight. If we are using more amount of food, then we fall in the overweight category. And if we are consuming food, but that food is most probably like the junk food or like the oily foods, then that will also be the we will then fall in the overweight category or in the obese category. Okay, so first of all we have a nutrition, and then we have a balanced diet, then we must know our BMI, and then when we go towards the nutritional disorders. So in the nutritional disorders, the nutritional disorder is actually a disease that results from excessive or inadequate intake of food and nutrients, which leads to conditions Means nutritional disorder, we can say that this is a disease. So we are calling the nutritional disorder as a disease. Means either the person is consuming too much nutrition, okay, taking too much food, or either he is not taking the food in an appropriate amount. Okay, so we can say that either there is a deficient amount of nutrition, or there is an efficient amount of nutrition. Okay, so in both of the cases there are certain disorders. As you know that in case if a person is consuming more food, then he might have obesity, he might have heart attack, and he might have diabetes mellitus as well. Okay, with these all the diseases we have discussed. Now I will discuss here about some disorders, some nutritional disorders that are taking place, that are newer to you, and that are taking place in case of inadequate intake of the food and nutrients. Okay, so first of all we can say that the malnutrition. Malnutrition actually includes the undernutrition and the overnutrition. Malnutrition, mal means that there is an abnormal amount of nutrition. Either the nutrition, undernutrition means that the person is not consuming appropriate amount of nutrients, and if there is a overnutrition, then it means that the person is consuming more amount of nutrition. Okay, undernutrition includes the stunting, the wasting, the underweight, micronutrient deficiencies or insufficiencies. Micronutrient deficiency includes vitamin A deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, underweight, wasting, stunting. These all are the types of the undernutrition, and which we will discuss. Okay, overnutrition includes the obesity and the non-communicable diseases. As we know, non-communicable diseases are those diseases that cannot transfer from a person to person. Okay, so we can say them as a non-communicable diseases. Okay, now the types of nutritional problems. So undernutrition and overnutrition, as I have told you. Now in the we are discussing here the undernutrition. Okay, now undernutrition. So first of all we have marasmus disease. Marasmus disease, what is this type of disease? It is an extremely severe type of nutrition disorder in which there is significant wasting of fats, muscles and tissues of the body. Here you can see a guy, he has a very low body mass. Okay, when he has a low body mass, he has height, but he has a very low body mass. Okay, so it means that there is something wrong happening in his body. So this is marasmus disease, is actually the type of the undernutrition in which there is a wasting of the fats. Okay, the fats are wasted because the body is not supplied with an appropriate amount of energy. So the fats starts to deprive. So why the wasting of the fats takes place? Here we can see the risk factors is that the chronic starvation, okay, adulterated water, and inadequate food intake and vitamin deficiencies. Usually the marasmus disease takes place in the underdeveloped countries, okay, where there is an insufficient amount of food available, or it takes place to those persons who are not taking the meal properly due to the poverty, okay, or they do not have a proper meal 3 times a day, they do not have a proper meal. Okay, so due to which in the body, when they are not taking the food, so the nutrients that are already present in the body, just like the carbohydrate, fats and proteins, they starts to decompose themselves and then they provide energy to the body. Okay, so when a person is not taking food, as a result of which all the mass that is present in the body start to oxidize itself, start to break down itself and produce energy in order to give life to that person. So due to this reason, this person is really very, we can say that he has a very low body mass. Why? Because his all nutrients that are present in the body and mass are going to oxidize, okay, going to break up in order to provide energy. Why? Because he is not taking enough food material that is required for his body. Okay, so starvation means a prolonged fasting state, and water is not given, he is not drinking water. and inadequate food intake and vitamins. So as we know that if there is not a sufficient amount of food intake, as a result of which vitamin deficiencies also takes place. Okay, then what are the causes of the marasmus disease? And premature babies who find it difficult to suck the breast milk, means there are some reasons for this disease. First of all, might be they are belong to the poor country, okay, yeah, like from Africa or like from any other type of the country which are underdeveloped and they do not get the sufficient amount of food, or might be after delivery they are premature, so they cannot suck the milk of their mother properly, so that's why they are not taking much nutrients and they are unable to digest the food. Okay, so deficient intake of the calories and proteins in case of the underdeveloped countries, or poor sanitation and hygiene, we can say that there is no hygiene and sanitation. So these are the reasons that why this marasmus disease takes place. Now what are the causes, what are the signs and symptoms of the marasmus disease? You can see here the sunken eyes, the poor growth, ribs clearly visible through the skin. If you see any, if you see in the internet or you search the people of Africa, then you find here that their ribs are visible. Why? Because there is no food in their stomach, so that's why they are not getting any energy, and their body mass is utilized, all their body mass is utilized and their body weight is going down day by day. Okay, and they have a thin and bony face, you can see the bones on their face very clearly. Now what about the treatment of the marasmus? The treatment is very simple, but as we can say that those persons and that are present in the underdeveloped countries, they have a difficulty in finding the food, so how they can treat their disease? Okay, so these types of the childrens have a very difficulty in growth, and even their parents are not able to give treatment to their childrens until and unless if there is any welfare who can support them. So treatment of the marasmus is that treat the cause. First of all, the cause is that there is a deficiency of protein, calories, and there is a wasting of fat. Okay, so he must take a balanced diet which must be rich in protein, moderate chat and the fats, and start with the skimmed milk followed by half cream and then full cream milk, lactose free milk. But these are the dietary conditions that a person can afford for those persons that can afford. Okay, but those persons that cannot afford, their children won't get any treatment and unfortunately they will die from hunger. So blood plasma transfusion, correct vitamin deficiencies, means by giving the supplements of vitamins, and if there is any infection in the stomach, then that infection must be treated, or by the transfusion of blood and plasma we can incorporate the healthy cells in them, so by the help of which they can we can say it can somewhat improve the condition of the body. Okay, so the first thing is that the diet must be appropriate. Okay, the second one disease is that of the kwashiorkor disease, and the kwashiorkor is also known as the edematous malnutrition. Edematous means that some parts of the body of these types of the persons that are suffering from the kwashiorkor disease, their body parts get swollen up, so this will known as edema. Okay, and that's why we are calling it as a edematous malnutrition. So this disease occurs when there is a lack of protein or severe malnutrition in the body. Specifically, this disease is associated with the protein. Okay, the marasmus disease is taking place when there is a fat wasting, but the kwashiorkor disease is taking place when there is a lack of protein, means when the person is taking carbs but he is not taking protein. So or might be the body is suffering, right? Might be the body is suffering. First of all, that the in the marasmus disease there is a wastage of the fats. Okay, then here in the kwashiorkor, if he is in the starved condition, then what happens that now there is a wastage of protein, right? So What are the causes of the kwashiorkor disease? There is a lack of the protein in the diet, lack of nutritional knowledge, and limited food supply. So due to which they are not able to take the protein in an appropriate amount. And what are the symptoms of kwashiorkor? You can see here their belly, okay, their swollen belly. So this is due to the that in their belly actually the water accumulates in them due to the protein deficiency, okay, and they will produce a belly just like this, and they have a brownish hairs, they have a dark and scaly skin, their growth is stunted, they are underweight, they have swollen legs, and they have a loss of appetite. Loss of appetite means they do not feel hunger, they have a blood loss, they are mentally retarded, and just leave this point, this is not correct, okay. So mentally retarded, they having many problems due to the deficiency of proteins, and the belly is produced is also an abnormality that is producing due to the deficiency of protein in the body. Now how to treat this disease? So diet with enough carbohydrates, fats and proteins can prevent the kwashiorkor disease. If there is a fluid that is accumulates in the stomach, then it will be removed by the help of surgery, okay, and by giving them the proper diet like carbs, proteins and fats. Like when they get the balanced diet, then they won't suffer from these types of life threatening diseases, okay, because they are not safer for a person, they are the life threatening diseases. And then there are certain vitamin deficiencies, like vitamin A deficiency is also common in children's, that can vitamin A deficiency is actually the leading cause of the preventable childhood blindness. Means the in the we can say that the children's are blind. Why? Because they have vitamin A deficiency, they are not getting vitamin A properly, so that's why they develop the we can say that they have a childhood blindness. And foods that are rich in vitamin A are like sweet potatoes, like pumpkins, like carrots, cottage cheese, egg, okay, and serving size is written here, that how much we can serve them or how much we can eat them, okay. So 1 and 1/4 cup of the sweet potatoes, pumpkins half cup, carrots 1/7 inch, cottage cheese half cup, egg 1. So by taking these foods we can have a good vitamin A in our body. And now another type of the deficiency in the children's most common is that of a vitamin D deficiency, okay. If they are not taking appropriate diet, then might be they are vitamin A deficient or vitamin D deficient. If they are deficient in vitamin D, I think that you remember we have discussed this vitamin D deficiency in the bones lecture as well, okay. If they are deficient in vitamin D, then the children's, especially the children's, so they might look like irritability, they have depression, they are distracted, they are fatigued in a very we can say in a very short period of time, and they have a learning difficulties, they having a poor memory, they have aggressive behavior, okay, and their bones also become soft and weak. So this vitamin D deficiency can also be controlled by taking milk, and also by taking certain diets that are rich in vitamin D, which we have discussed in the bones lecture, okay. So these are all the diseases that are associated with the nutrition, just like marasmus disease, kwashiorkor disease, and vitamin A deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, these are the nutrient deficiencies, okay. So hope you like this lecture, and if you have any question, then you can ask. Thank you.